hey guys, so normally the interview will ask, started with the Linux part. Maybe they will going forward, they will have some services, whatever we are using it on a Linux. But yeah, starting with the Linux, what is the Linux exactly? Maybe the interviewer can ask you. So definitely the people have different answer on top of it. But I can say Linux, initially Linux was open source. Maybe your first answer would be the Linux is a low open source. It was a low open source. It will be open source only. But yeah, nowadays some of the companies like Red Hat, Ubuntu, CentOS, and SUSE have take the same kernel version, and then they have used the kernel. They have edited or customized the kernel version and change it to with the licensing part. So now they are selling those OS with the licenses so that the end user can use them in their production workload. Like open source can be changed, or they can anybody can change it. Like if you have the idea about the Linux kernel thing, then you can change by your own kernel and you can create your own Linux. But yes, if it is a I can say if you going to use it on any production boxes, so definitely the client, or maybe you are not going to use it being a client, you are not going to use those Linux being a open source. Definitely you need some license part, so that some support would be there. Licensing only provide the support. Like suppose Red Hat, if you purchase the Red Hat license, then definitely the license part would be there, so that if you face any issue on top of the Linux, definitely Red Hat will come and they will uh, they will help you to resolve the issue. So but initially the Linux is an open source and the people are using. If you want, then you can go to the open source community and you take it the kernel from there, and you can change according to your need. So this was the answer. You can explain. I have write it only one liner, but yeah, you can explain in better manner. That's how just I did it here for you. Like you can give them example how it is open source, why it is the licensing part once the vendor is providing the support to you basically. Okay, so we are moving forward to next line. This is a normal answer that yeah, what is the Linux? So you can tell them Linux is open source. It's a CLI based system, and where that normally you need to use the CLI. But nowadays definitely you will see that, and you have also experienced that the people are using a Linux in a I can say this is used in a like desktop version as well. People are having the GUI. But yeah, you can explain the interviewer so that interviewer understand, yeah, you have the complete understanding about the question and about the Linux as well. Only one liner will not be suffice. Sometime maybe they want to listen some more from you, so that you can explain them whatever I told you here. So moving forward to next question. This was the first one. Next question is, how you can configure a Linux virtual machine. So what is the virtual machine? First of all, suppose somebody asks you what is the how you are configuring a Linux virtual machine. Virtual machines means the machine which are not installed on top of directly on a hardware. So that's why those machines are called the virtual machines. And the answer is like, definitely if you need a base on which you want to install your machine, definitely you need some software or you need some hardware. So on virtual machines are installed on a hypervisor. So to configure a virtual machine, we need a hypervisor, and hypervisor has been provided by some of the like I can say software which is called Zen, KVM, and those software are managed or has been or just can be installed on a hardware, so that you got one layer, that is the hypervisor layer. On top of it, you can configure your virtual machine. So first, definitely an interviewer want to know that if you people have the idea about the virtual machines or virtual environment, so you can explain them a bit more rather than giving a one-liner answer. Give them some brief idea about your answers, so that they can understand, yeah, this is the correct answer, and this the guy to whom they are just listening those things, definitely the guy is having lots of idea about the virtualization. Give them complete idea like what is the virtual machine, how the virtual machine has been configured, and where it has been configured. I told you that definitely there should be the base where you need to configure your OS or you need to install your OS. Normally we are in bare metal servers, we are installing it on the hardware, but for a virtualized environment we need to have have one software, I can say base, or it called the layer of I can say software, so that on top of it you need to configure your virtual machine. So you will complete answer, yeah, virtual machines needs a layer of software on top of it. It need to be configured. What is the layer of software? That is the hypervisor. And which tools are giving those hypervisor layer? Those tools are Zen or KVM. So Zen and KVM giving you a layer, and that those Zen or KVM are the software which can be installed on a hardware, and they can be installed on multiple hardware. Suppose you have a 3 server and you need to configure the hypervisor on top of it. So you need to install the hypervisor on all 3 servers, so that you will get integrated resources from all 3 servers. Then you can create n number of virtual machine as per your requirement. So this would be the complete answer for you. You need to have the idea like how to create those things. Then we'll going forward, definitely in the question we'll see those things. Yeah, somebody ask you, like maybe interview will ask you that you have one virtual machine, you have one Linux machine running in front of you, and somebody asks whether this machine is in a hypervisor, means virtual machines, or maybe it's a hardware based machine. So you have, and Zen is the, I already told you in the previous question, Zen is a tool on which you can install your virtual machine. So whenever somebody asks you, definitely your hardware would be the Zen supported, and you can check that, yeah, this machine is running on the this hypervisor. So I'll check that. Let's see. You need to check with the DMASs. The DMASs are the kernel related masses which are running while the server any OS is booted. Let me show you on the my Linux console. So here you will see DMASs. First of all, let me run it. DMASs is the log file, I can say, is the set of log where you can get all the logs related to your OS. And in those logs, definitely if your machine was a hypervisor or virtualized machine, definitely that should be provide you the detail as well. Yeah, your machine is a virtualized machine, and then I'll check that you need to grab it from this logs only, because these things are there with you, and you need to have these things and you need to grab it from there only. So what I need to grab the Zen. Yeah, see, the machine on which I'm running this OS, that is also a virtualized machine. So that once I just try to grab the Zen word from here, then see these are the logs. These are the logs has been captured by the kernel, and it is clearly said that detected a virtualized Zen, means that it is the virtualized machine. So it's a virtual machine, even though I'm running it on a cloud, or running on any of the virtualized environment, like your OVVM, your like I can say another is like another tool is one other tool, like even though Windows is also having Windows virtualization, and vCenter, vCenter, yeah, vCenter is another is virtualized environment. So these virtualized environment, on top of it your virtual machine would be running. So if you give this kind of complete idea, like how to get the detail of the virtual machine, so that, yeah, interviewer think, yeah, definitely you have better idea and good idea on top of it, like, yeah, definitely you have everything about the Zen, and you have worked on the virtualized environment as well. So moving forward to the next question, yeah, what would be the let me, yeah, here, what would be the effect if the grub is not in OS? So first of all, this question, why the interviewer will ask this question, you need to understand, he want to check your understanding about the booting procedure about any of the OS, I can say. So what is the grub if the grub is not in the OS? So definitely he want to know that you are aware of the booting procedure or not. So what is the booting procedure in Linux? That, yeah, definitely there are some steps while you start your machine. The your process would be like queued in a queue, and then the every process is connected to each other, dependent to each other, I can say. And grub is one of the part of that complete process. If one part is missing, definitely your OS will not be booted. So if you tell them, yeah, grub is one of the part while we are booting our server, and every part is important, in terms of boot process. So if any part is missing in that sequence, definitely your OS will not be booted. So this will be your answer. Maybe next question they can ask other question, but yes, for intact they are just checking your understanding about the boot procedure. They will not get, because everybody aware of the boot procedure. Normally the people are the first question was what is the boot procedure, but they want to know that you are aware of each and every aspect or not. What is the grub and how it is important in a boot. So definitely grub is the first executable program which is there in the disk of first sector, and if it is not there, definitely your server will not be booted. Why? You will not get any idea of your disk, and the server will not be booted. Let's have the answer. Could not be started because we are placed the kernel and init RAM on the grub only. It's the first executable space where we are putting this our init RD and kernel. So they want to check your ID understanding about the boot procedure only. So you need to have the idea, and then you can tell the correct answer. Yeah, it is not, it will not boot. Even though you can tell them where it got placed, it got the placed on the first sector of your disk. Once the server has been released from the BIOS, definitely it give the idea about the disk, and where is the disk. It will provide you the location as well of your disk in the BIOS. BIOS is having every detail of your disk and everything. Then once you reach your disk, then definitely the first sector where you are going to read it, that was the grub, and there you have placed your kernel and your init RD. Kernel is used to just communicate. Kernel is an interpreter. You are all aware that kernel is an interpreter, and init RD is a device where your device driver has been placed. So these two things are very much important to start your OS. If those things are missing, like in the question they have clearly said, if the effective grub is not in OS, so means that you will not get the interpreter, so that a hardware will not communicate to OS, so your system will not be boot. Another one is the init RD, which is placed in the grub. Init RD is a device where your device driver means this driver has been there, and if it is not there, your disk will not be sensed by the OS, and it would not be initialized, so that your OS would not be booted. So that same answer you can tell them, yeah, this is how it works actually. And in the Linux, I'll show you where the grub is placed. Here you have all the details about the grub. What are the files we have there for the grub? It is there. And one more location. Yeah, here as well you have files. Like here grub.cfg. This is the file. It's give you the detail about your grub, where the kernel has been placed. What is the kernel? Your kernel detail is placed here. This is your Linux kernel detail. It has been given here. So everything in the grub. So if you delete, or maybe your file disk, this grub file has been corrupted, or maybe grub has been corrupted because of some reason, definitely you will not able to boot your OS. So this is the reason it is very important. Once you want to boot your OS, definitely you require your grub. So your answer will be your OS should not be booted. And you can tell them this, the explanation, whatever I told you, you have in mind. Please go through this video, so that definitely these things in your mind, and you'll answer the question in a better manner. Definitely the answer is the one-liner answer would be the suffice, but yeah, if you explain them in a better manner, definitely it will impact a good phase of you actually up if this candidate is having the better idea about the Linux. Okay. How to upgrade a kernel? First of all, like in the past topic, just previous topic, we have discussed about the kernel. What is the kernel basically? As I told you, kernel is initially it called the interpreter. What is the interpreter? Interpreter work like your hardware is there on top of it, where you are working running your OS. Like either it's hardware or your hypervisor layer, that is the Zen or KVM. But yeah, definitely your OS doesn't understand the hardware. So what is grub has? Grub has lots of small executable, and once any of the hardware it sends, it has the executable or just one runtime software for it, and once that it will be executed, your OS can understand that this runtime software has been executed or running, so that definitely that particular software is there. So this is how the kernel is working basically, I can say. Yeah, now, yeah, definitely somehow you want to upgrade your OS, but you don't have you don't have basically the kernel upgraded, so that what happened, your OS will not be correctly communicated, or the way it should work, it is not working because your OS is the latest one, but your kernel version was the oldest one. So what you need to do it, you need to upgrade the kernel in in some frequency, like in the quarterly manner or in a monthly manner, or maybe in a yearly, you need to upgrade it. So how to upgrade it? See, first of all, we need to have the softwares to upgrade my kernel. So where I need to get it? I need to get it either from the vendor of hardware who is managing, or maybe I need to get it from the OS vendor as well. Sometimes the kernel upgrade has been provided by the hardware vendor. On top of it, my OS is running, or sometimes my kernel version has been provided by the OS vendor. So where I get it, if suppose I'm talking about the OS vendor, definitely OS vendor have their repositories. Normally they have the repositories. Nowadays everything is on a cloud, so definitely they have put it some of the FTP location, you can get those things from there. Otherwise they will provide you some latest patch set on a disk as well. But this media nowadays not everybody is using. Nowadays everybody is using the OS with OS, which is having, you can download the repositories, you can download the complete OS from the cloud as well, or just cloud location, as well as from the like FTP location kind of. So you can download it, and from there you need to install it. Either you can directly install it, but I'm suggesting, if you are giving the answer, please tell to the I can say interviewer, yeah, that can be upgraded, or just latest patch set, I can deploy the latest patch set. I need to get the packages from the directly to the from the internet, or I can download it on my local disk, and then I can upgrade it. Okay, so this is how it should be done. And if you want to see on this one, I'll showcase to you. In OS, normally the kernel upgrade has been come with a bundle of the OS upgrade as well. Like suppose if you want to upgrade something in OS, definitely that should be on your machine as well. This is the one of the Linux machine, and this is a I can say, let me have it the clearly and clear. Then this is the one of the virtual machine. This is hosted on a AWS environment, and I'm trying to get it configured. Let me do it first for you. Like, what is the command to check the kernel version? You name -a. So this will provide you the kernel version. What is the kernel version? Here we have, this is the kernel version. This is the major number. This is the minor number, and these are the update in the kernel. Okay, this is how the kernel can be checked. What is the kernel version here? But yes, to configure, to install or upgrade the kernel version, there's a two method. Either you need to download that particular patch and you can upgrade it. Otherwise, if it is a Red Hat based OS, then yum update would be run for you. It try to fetch it from there, and it's try to run. Let's see whether the kernel upgrade is there or there is not. I don't hope so it is there, because I'm not seeing here. But yeah, you can update directly with the yum update command. Yum update will update your kernel version as well as other OS packages which are helping you to manage your hardware, manage your software, everything it can be patched. So for my server, it is showing these number of softwares can be upgraded here once you are doing with like I can say upgrading your server. Let's see. Let me run it. Let's see what is happening there. But for you people, like whenever you are answering, so you can tell them kernel version upgrade is an activity, and once you want to upgrade it, definitely you need to have the downtime prior to upgrade any kernel. So whenever you are answering to interviewer, that will be good for you when once you are telling them, yeah, this is how it should upgrade. But yeah, for any reason I need to have the take a downtime. This one, let me check whether my kernel has been upgraded. 510.96.90.460 510. Okay, sorry, my bad. Then this time no kernel upgrade is there. But yes, if you install it, and it will give you the result if that any new kernel upgrade has been given. For my machine, I don't have any upgrade, so definitely it is not upgraded my kernel. But yeah, this is a downtime activity. So if you are telling the answer to your interviewer, tell them, yeah, we can upgrade it by the two method. I download one of the package for the kernel, I can install it. Otherwise, what I need to do it, I need to if there's a requirement to upgrade the kernel with OS, then I need to run the command yum update. In case of Red Hat and Jupyter update is the command to upgrade your kernel and OS package. This is the command when you are running the SUSE. So these are the two commands while you're running these two, and if you tell the interviewer, yeah, this will be help you, and the interviewer can understand, yeah, definitely you have the better idea in terms of this, and definitely it's required downtime. So whenever you require this kernel upgrade, so you need to have first of all downtime for your kernel, so that after kernel upgrade you need to restart your server and prior to that, like I have just given you, ensure that you have one backup, because definitely if you, I'm telling you, please tell the complete sentence to the interviewer, yeah, I need to have a downtime, I need to have a one good backup, so that if something goes wrong I can restore it from my backup. So this will be your complete answer. Okay. Okay, let's move on this next question now. What is the RPM, how and what is the uses of -u-f option with the RPM command? So RPM, first of all, you should explain to him what is the RPM. RPM is basically a vendor-based methodology, Red Hat Package Manager, the people are saying, and that is why, because the RPM is used earlier, but yeah, Red Hat, once the Red Hat has taken this open source to provide some licensing OS, then they have named this Red Hat Package Manager. Package Manager means the method or just tool from which you installed your packages. Okay. And what is the use of? We'll see those things. No, not a problem. RPM called the Red Hat Package Manager, and it has been used for the standalone package. Suppose you have, I've showed you earlier in my this slide that I need to run the yum update. So you can ask, you can ask to me, even if you're there, then why yum update was there even though we have the RPM. RPM is used for the standalone package installation. Suppose you want to install a single RPM to on your server, then use the RPM. If you want to install the bundle of the packages on your server, then use the OS based method to update your server. Yum updates mean that it will take the repository from the Red Hat or maybe the Red Hat vendor supported companies, and they will got those things from there. But if you want to install any single package, you need to have the RPM command. And what is the use of -u and -f? Let's see what is there in the this one. Yeah, we can read -u, then you can explain this. First of all, RPM is the Red Hat Package Manager. Why it is used is to install standalone packages on the any of the Linux machine, but it would not be I can give you some more just this one, like it would not be going to resolve your dependencies of the packages. Like suppose one package has been dependent on another one, and but if you have installed a single package, it has some dependency, it will not be resolved. But yes, it can be installed if there is in a single package, and if you want to install it on your OS, then definitely it will be suffice your requirement to install that package. -u and -f option is like -u option will be update the existing package, but if the package is not available, then download and the package and install it as well. Like what is mean by, suppose you want to update one package and you found that, yeah, somebody asked you, somebody's given you one package and they want to update it, but you find that package is not available. You can ask them whether that package is required, or you want to just because that package is not, they will say no, I want to install as well if it is not there. So you need to run RPM. I'll show to you. -u and suppose ftpd, and let me let's see. Okay, okay, this file is not there. Why? Because I need to provide the package name. So suppose I have, let me download one package from there, then I'll showcase to what. And let me explain you -f. Maybe they that maybe they will understand your question. -f is again the freshen, like it's a update, it's a command to, it's a I can say it's an option to update your package. But but without installation. Suppose that package is not there, it will not update. If it will not install your package, means -f, you'll run any of the with -f command, it will not install that, but with the -u, it will update it if it is there, and if it is not there, it will install it for you. These are the two different. Why the interviewer asking you, I'm telling you. Well, sometime it is not required to install that package. So they will tell you only, just I need to update the package, or I don't want, if it is there, update it, otherwise I don't want to install it, new package. That was some specific requirement with the application. Interview will ask you because they want to check your knowledge about the RPM technology. RPM having lots of things. I'll show to you RPM. If you run the RPM, lots of things are there to explain it. But yeah, these two are very much like normally the people are asking, now the interviewer asking, even though I'm also asking once I'm just taking the interview with the Linux, and lots of time I'm asking the what is the difference, even though there's an option is -i as well, is there -i, but I'm not asking that question. I'm asking always that, yeah, I need to, what is the -F and capital U, so that you need to have idea. Yeah, there's a two option. Once you need to only update the package, then you need to run with the -F. If you want to update and install as well, if the package is not, then you need to use -U, then it will be installed for you. This is the complete explanation. Once you will give this kind of explanatory answer to him, definitely he will yeah, understand. Yeah, he's satisfied with your answer, and you understand, you are aware of this exactly idea what is the RPM and what is the use of those -U and -F. Yeah, let's move on the next question. What is the zombie process? How can you detect them in your system? First of all, you need to understand the what is the zombie. Zombie, I guess you all aware, zombie means the object which doesn't have their mind or doesn't have any control. Suppose like you have seen sometime that, yeah, this is the zombie man. Why there's some movies are also there that people are saying that zombie movies are there, when nobody can control that process, or nobody is having any control on top of it, then those process or those creature or those object called the zombie. So how can you detect them in your system? So first of all, how the zombie process are created in your system. There's in every process, I'll showcase to something. Maybe I doesn't have any zombie process in my system, but yeah, some of the processes I'll tell you, I'll showcase to. Like these are all processes. These are the command which is running basically, and you are aware, I guess. And let me explain you a bit more manner so that these are the processes running my system. And here you will see that some processes are, this is the process I'll showcase to from here, PID and PPID. What is the PID? PID means the process ID. What is the PPID? Parent process ID. So that this process is dependent on this. Sorry, this process is dependent on this process. For this process, this is the parent process. Yeah. So when this, and in the zombie, when it got created, when the parent process has been killed by any reason, so that this process being just running like an orphan process, an orphan process become a zombie. Why? Because this process, this is the parent process, has been control on this process, so that whenever this parent has been killed by any reason, then this process become a zombie process. And how could you detect that? Definitely we have a different method to detect it. Let's have the answer what you need to give to this one. So let me move it there so that you are able to see. In the Linux, all the OS and application related to binaries are in the form of the process. In the Linux, you are aware, I'm telling you that once you are asking, the question was there, definitely you need to have the answer. Yeah. First of all, what is the process? Process is a running operations which is running on the Linux. Why it is running? Because every file, every software, every binary is in a terms of process here in a Linux. Anything running on your OS is become a process only. Whenever you want to test it, what is running my system, then you need to check the ps-ef. Then it will give you the idea about the running processes on your system. Like here I have ran it if it give you all the processes, all the softwares running on your system. You can say process is a software and process is running on a system with some of the ID, because Linux is understanding not your process name. It will be understand those process by ID. So every process is having some ID. Every process having, and there's a dependency in between the processes. Like one process is having called the child process, and one process is called the parent process. So here you will see that these are the child process. I'm just selecting you. These are the child process, and this is the parent PID. So these are the parent processes. So these are this kind of dependencies there are in the Linux box. So if you just kill that parent process, this child process become a zombie. It doesn't know what need to be done, because in a parent child process, then we need to have shut down and start method. Like if you want to shut down that particular process, first you need to shut down the child, then you need to shut down the parent. Suppose if you want to start the process, then you need to start the parent process first, then you need to start the child process. This is the method to start any process if there's any dependency in between two processes. And once you have the running both the process, but you kill this parent process, this 13 number PID process has been become a zombie. And suppose if you want to check that, let's have the answer. Processes interdependent to each other. So some processes are called the parent process and dependent processes are called the child process. But if somehow someone kills the parent process, then the child process become a zombie process. Because it just lost the parent process, so no one control it. No one controls the child. As I told you, if some process are running in an orphan stage, so those become a zombie. They cannot be controlled by any other process. They can only controlled by their child parent process. And if you want to start the process, as I told you, first you need to start your parent process. Once you start your process, they will start again their child process. But that the earlier which is the child process for the parent, that they will not take the child process. That should be in a zombie state. Only the method, if you want to get rid of those zombie, bro, we need to either restart or kill those process. Sometime in my experience, that you can tell them you can tell to the client, just interview. Sometime my experience to just like we can either kill the process. If that works, it is good for us. Otherwise, we need to reboot the server. Prior to reboot, definitely we need to have downtime. We need to get the business approval for that. This explanation you can give the interviewer. This will give a good impact on the interviewer. Yeah, he will understand. Yeah, you have idea about this zombie process and everything on your system, right? How can you kill the zombie? Definitely answer. They can ask, the interviewer can ask, yeah, I know that you are aware of the zombie, but how you can kill those things? Then zombie is already dead. Zombie means there is a dead process. Why? Because their parents is already killed, so that they are not running basically. But so you cannot directly kill them. Like kill, I'll tell you what is the kill method. If you doesn't aware, kill is the command in Linux, and you can run, and you will see that how you can kill it. Normally, if suppose I want to kill some process, kill -9, and then I can kill this process. First of all, I need to, if I want to become this zombie, then definitely I can kill this, and then see run ps-ef. I'm giving you some and deep understanding about these things. Let's see what is happening with that. It is not there. Why? Because I killed this one, so it has some dependency. It was killed, but some the cases it not be killed, then it should be in a dead procedure. So that's why telling you, sometimes while killing you, you will not kill the zombie procedure. So what you need to do it, after the parent dies, the zombie will be inherited by the PID. So man, that PID, what is the PID one? First of all, you need to know, though it has been written here. I'll show you what is the PID one. This is the PID one. What is who has the PID one? Root is having PID one. So means that any of the dependent process, where the child and parent is there. If the parent got killed, then the root would become the parent of that zombie process, but that process is not running state, so you're not able to directly kill that process. What you need to do it, let's see what is there in the answer. Sorry, yeah, PID1, which will not be wait on the clear in entry on the process table. You will not clear it. You will not able to this one. So killing the parental should not work. Then return after parent dies, the zombie will enter PID1. You will not be on it. So you will not kill those things. So what you need to do it, you're not like the question was how you kill the process. You can tell the interview it will not killed. It can be removed. How you'll remove the this one? You can add those things. He want to understand. Either your answer would be like yeah, he just asked that how he killed that, so you can so no, it not be killed. Why? Because the once the parent has been died, then the parent of that process would become a root only, but you cannot kill that child process for any of the root. And another main thing, that that process would be in a dead condition. Even though if it is dead, you will not kill it. So what you need to do, you need to just restart your server, because that it is not possible in the running mode. So that will be your complete answer. But yeah, if somebody asks, no, straightforward, I need to have the answer whether you are able to kill it or not, then you can tell them it should not be killed. Why? Because it's already there, and you can explain those things whatever I'll just given to you in this questions explanation, right? Okay. The next question, maybe they have the different demand. They in the Linux is very fast. They can ask any question like that. Next, what is the nslookup? So like they want to understand about your DNS understanding with the nslookup. Everybody know the DNS, and what is the command to check the DNS, how which DNS has been configured, and is that DNS is having the correct detail what I want to search. nslookup means name server lookup. It is not looking for the name server, it is looking for the resolution for a server name, so that it is first it's gone to the DNS server. So nslookup gone to the DNS server. From there it's query that, yeah, do you have the IP address of this machine, this name, so that it will give you the IP address. Once if it is had, definitely it provide you the name of your IP address, right? Yeah. So nslookup is the command to request a host name to IP or IP to host name resolution from a name server. As I told you, from a name server means whenever you are nslookup to any of the host name, it will give you the host name or the IP address against the resolution. Let me show you on this this one. Let's see whether it has something. Yeah, I'm try to get the nslookup of the google.com. Suppose I want to IP address because I have some requirement. I need to get the IP address of my google.com. From here I can get it directly in some cases, but yeah, if I want it, definitely it has first its lookup with the DNS. This is the DNS IP for my machine, and it's gone to the DNS server and query that, do you have the google.com IP? So what is the result has been provided by this DNS server is this is the name, address is this is the IP address of your google.com. Okay, this is how it's works. So nslookup is a command to provide a name resolution from the DNS to my OS. Who has asked? You didn't ask. This is because you are just putting input for your OS. So your OS want to know the what is the IP address of this google.com. So it has given, yeah, this is the public IP address, this is the IP4 IP address, this is the IPv6, because definitely you are aware that nowadays IPv6 are going to be used. So this is how it has been configured. So these things are configured like the nslookup. You can tell them directly nslookup is a name server lookup, and it's query the host name to the IP address or IP address to host name kind of set, and then it will provide. Let's see whether it has reverse lookup, or sometimes reverse lookup is not working everywhere, but yeah, we can check it whether it's working for us or not. No, it doesn't have. Okay, it has, but yeah, it has some different name. Why it has the different name, I'm telling you. I'm giving you the explanation, but maybe in interview session you will not give this kind of interview kind of explanation, because you are not going to open the machine. But yeah, for your understanding, I'm giving you the explanation, because this is the name of your one of the Google server. It's a pretty name because everybody can understand google.com is a server, and everybody want to go. Suppose if somebody asks you to memorize this name, it was very difficult. And it is not same for everywhere, because in a world, in the global world, Google has lots of servers segregated and scattered in different part of the globe, so that where you are, suppose I'm in India, so I'm just searching this server, I'm searching google.com, it has provided me this IP, but this IP belongs to this server which is located maybe in Hyderabad, Bombay, or maybe in Bangalore, somewhere in Google locations, and they are giving you the this detail from that server only. But all the Google servers has been synced each other. Whatever the information you are seeking from the Google, you will get everything was the same, even though you are sitting in the US, or even though you are sitting in India, wherever you are, it will give you the same data, because they are internally they are synced. So you are understand what is the use of this. Is the nslookup is the name server lookup. This is the command to query for any of the domain name and resolution. So what is the domain? Means the domain name, this is the domain name, fqdn fully qualified domain name for google.com. so it will provide you the IP address, or maybe for IP address it will provide you the host name as well. Okay, this is how it's worked actually. Yeah. So moving forward, this one. So maybe you can explain them what is the NS lookup name server lookup. Lookup means that you're looking for something. You are querying something. So where you are querying, you are querying to your DNS server, and where it got configured in the Linux DNS server has been configured on this file. This is the DN, this is file for local machine. Whenever you want to add DNS for your server, so that whenever you are running the NS lookup, and definitely the IP address which you have configured in this file, it will provide you the lookup or query from this server as well. Like for me, it's a 10.2. I see these are the same, and it's querying from there only. Let's move on to next question. Where can you set the priority of resolving the resolution in the Linux? Okay, I'm telling you here on the same file, resolve.com. Suppose in my case, I have only one server. Here you see that only one name server. Maybe in your organization, in your company, you have multiple DNS server, because they have lots of loads are coming to the DNS server. If you have only one DNS server, maybe that have been very loaded, and you will not get the immediately. Like I'm running it here, I'm running the DNS lookup. Immediately it has given me the output. Yeah, this is the IP address for my machine. But for your case, maybe in your organization, maybe it got very much loaded. Lots of people are the NS lookup to the DNS server. So in that case, maybe companies, or maybe even though Google is also having, this is the local DNS server, local DNS server for an AWS, and I'm just giving you example on the DNS. So AWS hosted server, AWS having the local DNS server, but for normal organization, it is not like that. Maybe they have multiple one. Why? Because it has some lots of workload are coming on that DNS for querying. So they have, and you are here, you will provide the on this file resolve.com. You have a name server 1, 2, 3. How many servers you have? You can put the name in a sequential manner, like when first IP address name server and IP address second name server. So whenever it's first it gone to this IP address, maybe if it is not resolved, maybe the data is not there on this DNS server. So definitely whatever the IPs you have mentioned in that file, they will check for each and every one. So the interviewer question does not ask anything else here. They want to ask you what is the basically, I can say, what is the you have the idea about the DNS and DNS configuration on your OS, nothing else. They did not want to just how the priority had been. They want to know, do you have the idea of the file? It is the different way to ask the question. I'm telling you, it is just a different way to ask the question. When you are giving answers, definitely they will ask the tricky question. This is called the tricky question. They will not directly where you can see the DNS name configured on your OS. So then definitely you have the idea, but they are saying where you can set the priority of the resolving the naming resolution in the Linux. So this is how they will ask the question and answer with the resolve.conf only. How you can find the whether the system NI is enabled or not. So like normally, what is the NIS? NIS has been used for like your centralized authentication system. And how you check that? If you have IP bind is a package which is installed on a system or not. If it is installed, definitely you can check that IP bind is there. How you check that? either see systemctl is the command. If it is there, definitely it will be give you the like, yeah, it is running. Like I'll tell you how it will be provided. This is the one of the command to check the NIS, but yeah, I'm just giving an example of another service. If an IS has been configured, YP bind give you the example, the output like this. Yeah, this process is running and your NIS enabled. If it is not there, definitely your NIS means centralized authentication system is not configured on your system. So you just tell them, yeah, NIS is used YP bind daemon to start to run, so that if the YP bind daemon is not running, definitely in my system NIS has been not configured, not enabled, or just configured. Means that enabled or means that it is not configured, you can say. You can tell them, I check with the systemctl. Systemctl is the option where I can see. I'll tell you, systemctl is the utility, so that you can check how many processes and daemons are running on your system. I'll tell you how. See, this is the systemctl command. It give me the all the details, whatever the things are running on my system, whatever the daemons are running on the system. It just provided me the complete list. Sorry, this is how you can explain them. Yeah. Okay, what is the difference between the CRON and ACT? First of all, you need to understand what is the CRON. See, what is his ask here? His ask to understand, do you have the idea about the CRON? ACT is not this that much of an important question here, but yeah, he want to know about the CRON. In the meanwhile, he just added the two question in between. What is the use of CRON? What is the difference between CRON and ACT? So you need to provide the complete detail. Sorry, you, you need to provide the complete detail about the CRON and ACT. Let me explain you something. Simple manner, simple answer that yeah, cron is the methodology where you want to just schedule something and you can use the schedule and you can run it, and at is also doing the same. But yeah, there's some major difference. Then you will see that the idea behind the two at is the tool run one of single, means that you want to run something at schedule time, then you can configure the at, and then you can you can have just schedule that point and that it will be run once. It will not be there's no frequency in that process to be run with the act is one of the tool here actually. Cron is the tool where you can set the frequency, like you can set the like it will be run in every 15 minute, 10 minute, maybe 9 a.m. daily kind of, you can set. You can tell them here. Let's see the what is the exact definition for that. That behind that is to be tool to run one of single future job. There is a variation of ad called batch. Nowadays maybe they have called the batch of, which is run the jobs only if the system resources are almost idle. Cron is idle, means that resources are free, then it can be run. Cron is usually used for the configuring the chronological table. Like table means that if you run something in every 10, like suppose one example I'm giving you. If you need the cron, if you need one command to be run daily basis at 9 a.m., you need to configure the cron only. Cron. And if you just once that today I need to run this command at once only, that you need to configure at only. So at means at that time that yeah, that process can be run. So you can configure that. But a cron, if you want that process would be run today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, daily at this time, or maybe in every half an hour, maybe in every 1 hour, maybe in every 2 hour, it can be run. So this is how it can be configured. Like here they have written there, while the most cron job are set using cron tab command. The cron command can be directly to do one of, maybe you can use both. If you want to run once only, then it can be run once. If you want to run daily basis, it can be run by the cron, it can be run daily. So cron is a bigger picture of ad. Actually, I can say it's having lots of capabilities to do run or just schedule your any process, any command you want to run it. And it has the like I'm telling you, I'm just cron tab is the daemon where you need to run it. Otherwise cron tab space -e, then it's use it's allow me to go in one of the file where I can set like star. Let me have it something for you. I'm giving you this explanation because, but in the normal scenarios, interview scenario, you're not required to provide this kind of. I'm just giving you this one because you have better understanding. Once you are giving this, maybe you can add something like these star. Why I'm using these star? These 5 star. First one is for minute. Like suppose you want to run a command in every minute, so you can put by ***1. So in every minute it can be run. The second is asterisk is given by for asterisk means for all the time, every minute it can be run for for hour. Asterisk, next asterisk is for hours. Every hour you want to run something, then you can put the asterisk only, so it will run in every hour. The second one is here, it is day in a month. In maybe you want to run any command in a specific day. Suppose I want to run in a month, like I want to 13th of the December, like this is the every month, the 13th day I need to run that command. So you need to run that command, you need to put 13, so that every month the date 13, that command would be run if you provided there. Then next asterisk is for next. Actually you can put some values, like I want to run for the month in a year, like which month I want to. Suppose I want to run one command, I want to run it twice in a year. First in third means in the March, the second command should be run on a September, so it would be 9th. So here I can say 3 for March or 9 for a September, so that my command, I'll just forget, I just configure it, I forget everything. I know that my command has been scheduled, that should be run at particular date and time or particular month. In suppose you have written there this for prior to that, you need to put that for this March month, it should be run on 3rd of March. So you need to put 3, then you need to put 3 for the month of that year. Then last is the, if you want to configure something every week, you want to run for a week only. Week is also here, we are using every like 7 days a week. Suppose I want that for every week, maybe for first and second week, or maybe for, I can say not first and week, which day of a week. Suppose you want to run something every Monday, you can put that number, like starting from 0. Sometimes starting from the 0 is the Sunday, Monday 1, Mondays 2, Saturday 2, sorry, Tuesday 3 kind of setup. It is there actually. This is how it's working. Yeah, give me 2 seconds, give me 2 seconds. Yeah, sorry. So so this is how it's works. Actually cron is working. So where we are, so this, and then we need to write our command. Suppose I want to run like ping. But yes, I'm giving you something so that you can check those things by your own. But yeah, in normally in your question, that it will suffice your question, like what is the @ and what @ is for any command you want to schedule it once only, so that you can use that. But yeah, everybody nowadays, everybody is using cron only, because cron can be done other things, like it can be scheduled for feature manner as well. It has it is having the lots of things are there. You can run the different commands, and it has some file where you can configure it. Suppose you want to run some command at once, but other command can be scheduled for frequency, set frequency, like day, in a day, in every hour, maybe in a month, maybe in a quarter, maybe in a, I can say in a week, any day of week you can configure it like this, so that you can complete this information, give the idea, so that yeah, interview understand, yeah, you have the better idea, rather than a single answer, single liner, or maybe 2-liner, 3-line answer. You have lots of things. You can tell them in the cron tab file we have configured the command with the 5 running item, like minutes, hours, day in a month, month in a year, day in a week, kind of setup where kind of frequency we can set it with the cron. You can set, like if system is not 24/7, then you can run accordingly. You can tell those things to them. Yeah. So this was the answer for what is a swap and how you use it. What is a swap? So first of all, we need to answer what is a swap, why the swap is required. So swap is the virtual memory, but it can be it would be configured on a disk only. Sometimes that in the older time that we don't have that much of memory configured. So what we are doing, we are using the disk space of disk. Disk is low cost, having low cost, but RAM is having high cost. So what the people have did in the in the past, they have created the disk space as a RAM. So we need to create the swap to use that space, so that that swap is required. So what is the swap? And use it because of that memory was not there up to, because earlier I have seen some system where we have only the MBs, memories, and 512 MB, 256 MB, then the swap is very much required. But yeah, that time code has been written in the application. Now still the swap is required. Why? Because sometimes that your memory is having some process which should be run on the slower basis. So what your memory will do, it will shift those processes to the swap, so that they will run, because they did not want in that much of speed, so that RAM would be free for you. Then you can add your other processes which is required to be run on the RAM. So this is how the swap is nowadays also required. But yeah, it was starting when the swap got used for the as a memory only. And why that it was used, because that memory was very costly, and swap, this one I can say, your disk was not having so much cost, so the people are using the disk as a RAM only. Command to check the swap. How the you can check the swap on your system? Free-G. Let me showcase to you on Linux box. Yeah, see, why I'm giving you this examples on server, so that you have the better picture clarity. Yeah, what is there and how the things are there. You have the swap. In my system, I doesn't add any swap, but yeah, swap is there. Suppose you have configured some swap there, then you can have there in the your detail. Maybe you have 10 GB, 32 GB, 64 GB. It is a requirement nowadays. It's a requirement came from the application side only, that I required this much of stuff. For example, I'm giving you one of the database I have running in my just client. They are having only 2 GB of swap, even though they have the RAM in the terabyte, but they still require the swap, because swap is very much important. Because some of the process not required that much of a space, so that you can shift those process to the your disk. But yeah, that code has been written like that. They required the swap, even though they require the 2 GB, even though they have the RAM in the terabyte, but they require the swap. That's why it is very much required. And you need to get it from the free-G. You can tell them, yeah, free-G will get those things. What is the daemon? First of all, you need to understand daemon. Why it is called the daemon name? See, we just discuss about the processes in the maybe previous to 5 to 6 question back. We have discussed about the process. Linux is, I'm telling about the Linux is the OS which is based on the file. Every I can say every component of the OS is having one file. So that if you want to configure something and you have that idea, so you can configure every component of your OS. If you have coding idea, you can write some codes, and you can provide those codes as a file, and then you can run it on your system, because definitely the code would be kind of executable file, and you can run it on system. And so that in every system which is it's a file based system. So wherever you have any generic, wherever you have any generic component for your this one, so nobody understand what is the file, what is the name of file, where it got resides. So in a means in a easy method, you are not aware of those files, you not memorize all the files. Here we have plenty of files are there. I will see on system, I'll showcase to you. But yeah, so that they have the idea, yeah, we can provide some names to my just processes. So that I have created one file, executive file, I write one code, I just named it one of the process, so that whenever the process, that daemon is called a kind of executable file only. And once you start it, and the daemon is can be memorized. Like suppose I am telling you that daemon, let have this one. This SSHD is the daemon. So normally some the basic services I can have memorized the file name, like for SSSD, I have the idea about the file because that was required. But for every daemon, every process, it is not easy to memorize the file name. So what we did, we need to understand, we need to know about the daemon. Daemon name is the pretty name, I can say. You can memorize, like as for SSH in a service which need to be run on OS, and the name of the daemon is SSSD. Suppose somebody asked me to start the daemon start the service, so what I need to do, I need to start the daemon only, and this is the kind of executable, and where everything has been configured for is which, let me let's see. Yeah, this is the daemon file for that, this executable. Let me have this file name. Let's see what is there. This is a object file dynamically, this name, and a striped file. It is the executable file, like it's a code file, and it will be start the daemon. But every time you're not it is for you not easy to memorize this file name, so you just memorize this name. This is called the daemon. So what was the question? Like, what is the daemon? Daemon is a, I can say, name of the background process which is running on your system to start any of the service, and that can be memorized easily. That's why it's have some pretty name. And we can, if you want to start something, start any process, then you need to start immediately by some by one of the command, that is systemctl. And another thing is that every daemon has their placeholder in the Linux. Whenever you are starting, somebody asks you that, yeah, daemon has been started manually, but when it can be started automatically once your system is booting, then the daemon is all the daemon which you have mentioned. For those daemon, it should be started once your OS has been starting, so it will be started by your own. And it has something like some of the time, on the most of the time, you will have the letter D as well. In the last, you have a letter D as well, but it is not so important. Important is that you need to understand the what is the daemon, why it got called the daemon, what is the use of it. So I explained you, this is a process with a pretty name, and it has some executable, it has some file where the all the coding has been written. But every time file, it was not easy to memorize all the files, so you have to memorize the daemons only. So if somebody asks you to start this one, you not to search that file name from where I need to run that executable. No, you have one daemon, and systemctl is the utility, and is the utility. From there you can run all the daemons. And daemon, once the daemon is running, then your process should be started, or your service should be started, like systemctl status sst. Yeah, see, this is the loaded, so that your service has been loaded. Active is running, so that, yeah, daemon is active running. Document, you will find that this all the detail has been provided by this SSD. So it, for you, it is very difficult to every time memorize all the file name everywhere it got written, what has been there. So you can run this one. This is how it works, and this is the daemon actually. What are the daemon used for logs in the Linux? Yeah. So in everything where we want to log, actually, what is the how, like, suppose, what is the exactly, you need to understand what is the question. First of all, what are the daemons used for the log in the Linux? They want to know the two things. First of all, where your logs has been captured. First of all, you need to provide the answer. Another one would be the, what is the daemon name? So I told you that, like, D is in the last, syslog D. Your answer will be syslog D. But yeah, this would not suffice exactly. You need to tell them, yeah, there's a process which is the syslog D. Lots of time it is not running, but see whether it is running or not. We'll check it from here as well. Systemctl, as I told you, systemctl is the utility. Status syslog. Maybe it is not running on this process, but yeah, syslog is not configured here. But yeah, this is the daemon which is used for the logging your log mechanism, to start the log mechanism. So if, suppose you want to log something, then definitely it should be answered. What is the log location in every Linux? where this is the location. You can tell to the interviewer as well. This is the file where your daemon is logged or your log. So when you're answering this question, you need to tell this one as where log matches the file, where log match, where log is the folder where we are keeping all the logs. So you can tell them this is all this, you can explain those things to the your interviewer. So what is the hard and soft links? As you all aware, what is the need of this answer? Actually, I'll tell you. uh, in every OS, sometimes it is required to just like in Windows, we are creating the shortcuts. Shortcuts, it's a it is a link for an exact file for an exact directory, so that whenever you want to, and you are keeping your shortcuts on your directly on this one on a desktop. So what was because somebody want to keep some data, and then definitely they need to go to that folder, and they need to first of all they need to search those folder to your safe location. So what they will do, they will go to their disk and they will search where you have keep those things. So for you it was easy to create a shortcut on desktop, so anybody have login on his system, they will see that these are the shortcuts for those system, and they can go to there and they can check those files, and from there they can go to the your shortcuts and get the data. In this Linux, it was the same only. We have the two kind of links. One is the hard and another is the soft. What is the hard and soft? I'm telling you. Hard link. First of all, hard link. Yeah. Hard link point of the reference to a specific space of the hard drive. You can have the multiple files hard link to the same place in the hard drive, but if you change the data on those files, the other file will have the reflect the change there. Okay, let me explain those things. It was a line, but yeah, it's a hard link. Hard link is a copy of data, I can say. But you have the different hard link, like you have created the hard link on one location. If you want to keep one backup, it can be used as a backup. I'll tell you about the other thing, yeah, because earlier we talked about the soft link only. But yeah, hard link is a kind of backup only. But yeah, it is linked. Suppose same place in the hard drive, but if you change the data on one of those files, the other file will also reflect the change. Suppose you did some changes on the first location where you have your file has been exist, then the same changes has been done on the location where you have created the hard link. But what is the change for this? In the hard link, I'm telling you I'm adding something for you on this one. In the hard link, if you need some backup of your running system, running file system, running data, so what you need to create it, you need to create a hard link. So what will happen, it has the same data in the two places, same data, same space occupation, everything was same. Suppose 1 GB file is there and you want to take a backup, so it was not recommended to take backup of directly from the file, because what happened, once you are doing the same backup of that file, it provide you two reads. First of all, maybe someone from your application also want to read the file, and your backup is also go and read that same file. Then your system will be slow, that application will be going slow. But here for hard link, if you created one hard link, what happened, once you created the hard link, it will directly just sync the data between the two files are exactly same. If you do some changes on the first place, that same change has been occur on the second one as well. But yeah, if you want to take a backup, then better to take a backup for the link as well, not directly for the file. So that what would happen, you want to read something at the same time for application, same time you want to take a backup as well. So you are taking backup from the hard link, so that it will not impact the actual file, and your system will not be go slow. And system slow means your application will not be go slow. That's why the hard link is very much important. Now every time whenever it was recommended, if you want to take a backup of your file, any running or live file, or just maybe the running file system application file, so better to create a link, hard link I'm saying, and then take a backup of your link only, not the exact file, so that it will be help you. This is your brief explanation for the hard link. Now the soft link work like a bit differently. It's symbolic link, as I told you, it's a kind of is shortcut only. Suppose if you want to take a backup of your shortcut, it will not suffice your requirement because shortcut doesn't have any data. It has only the pointer, so that whenever you just click on the soft link, it will be redirect to you that link. But hard link, it is different. Once you want to just see the data, if you just click on the hard link, if you it does not go to the your actual file. It just check from their space only, whatever they have in there, and they will check the data and they will give you the output for a hard link. Actually, for soft link, no, it is just having a pointer, and it is whenever you want whenever you want to check the data, then it will be gone to, yeah, this one as well, right? Sorry, some interruption. Yeah, sorry. Soft link is a kind of shortcut only, and suppose you have deleted your shortcut, it will not delete the data there. For hard link, it was the same. It will not delete that link. Yeah, but if you deleted any, if you want do any changes on a soft link, it will be reflected immediately, and soft link doesn't have any data. If you want to take a backup or capture any data from soft link, you will not take it. Everything gone to the main file, direct to main file. Sometimes the soft link is more important, sometimes hard link is important, and yet it is the two method to take to create an link. That's it. That your answer will be like this only. Inodes. What are the inodes? Inodes are the, like in a system, like in a Linux system, where has been the file has been I can say where is the file has been created, what is the file metadata, what is the file is, how much pointers in there in a file. So those are called the inodes. Sorry. And inodes are sometimes that you have you have multiple of files you have written in a directory, and multiple, I can say in millions of files you have written a directory, and in the directory you will see that small files are there, but they have a specific inodes. So that sometime you will see that your file system would be occupied all the inodes resides for the disk, and so that your data will not be written on that. You will got some, yeah, if you want to write some data on a new file, or on new file on the directory, you will say that no inodes had been left for you. So inodes is a metadata for a file. Metadata means it has all the data, like what is the file name, what is the I can say space, what is the where it got placed on your disk. So this information is placed in the inodes. And in a disk there are limited number of inodes has been there, and limited number of space and limited number of inodes is also there. So whenever you have supposed you have 10 GB of disk, and you have one file is space is having 10 GB, you place there only one inode has been created. But if you have KBs or maybe bytes, you've created the millions of files, and number of files has been as much as there is your inodes you're having on your disk. So that inodes are very much important. Whenever your system has been recovered, it is recovering the data from those inodes only. So that inodes are very important. And how you'll get the inodes detail, you need to have run the df-i. Normally these are inodes number, the inodes, and this is the used inodes, means that this is the file system, how many it is having this much of inodes, and it is used this much of inodes. So that if you minus this much of inodes available on a system, maybe you are not used all the data space, but you used all the inodes space, even though after that your system will be not taking any new file on your system, right? This is how it works actually. And why it is important? Because it is not used by everyone directly, but yeah, it was used by the system when it's required some I can say recovery. So that being a Linux admin, it was important to you need to aware of this inodes and everything, right? That's why the people are asking how the inodes has been doing calculated. You can see that, yeah, in this file system you'll see that maximum inode, not maximum, almost 1/10 inodes has been used. Suppose somebody has created all the inode, then your root has been full in terms of inode, not in terms of space. Maybe they have taken only the root. We have almost df-k. Let me check the space of root. Root is having 8 GB. You will see that 4 GB space is free, but still you are not able to write any new file. Why? Because you have write this number of files, so that all the inodes has been taken by the files or directories. so they will not able to create a new directory. That was used for a system recovery only. You can explain them, and that's how it has been used. And this is the command df-o ls-li will provide you the list of the inodes, list of the inode files, whatever we have here. We doesn't have any file. Let me go to the root now. ls-i, let's see, is there anything is there or not? Yeah, here you will see every directory have the one inodes. I have gone to the dev now ls-i, you will see that every file and directory have the one inode number. Suppose you have filled all that, so that it will create a problem. That's why they want to know, do you have aware of this method or not? This is the one of the terminology I can say. So why do we use the lsof? What is the means of lsof? First of all, lsof is the list of files, list of open files, I can say. Let me run the command on my system. List of open files. What is the use of let the command let it be run? List of open files means that I already told you that Linux file system, in the Linux OS, we have everything is in term in I can say everything is a file. Either it's a process or it's application, anything running on OS, it's a I can say it's another version of file. I can say that may be executable, and then the things are running like that. But yeah, it is so. If you are aware that yeah, lsof is in a list of open, how many files are open means how many processes are used some files. I know we have every process being used by a file. Okay, so definitely we have this kind of setup, and we need to have this one. So sometimes what is there in the lsof? First of all, what is the question actually? Let me have it for you. Yeah, list of open files provided the multiple details, how many files are used for a process, or the ports open or used for a process. See here, you will see it has lots of things there in your, let me grab it. Maybe it's a, I'll tell you it's an open file. So in a system, lots of files has been open. So let me have it. Okay. Yeah, here, this is the command. So it will provide you this much of details. PID, TID is not there. Terminal ID, this is called the terminal ID. User, which user is running. FD means that what is that, how many things are type. It is the registry, or it's a directory, or it's a inode. Maybe I'll told you the inode is also used by in a file only. Every process, everything, whatever running on is it's used in a file. So which file it's used, is file use this is the use this file, this is use this file. Every process, you will see lots of processes are running. If I go, these are the basically system related process, and normally you will not see those things. Every binary, so that this is running, and this memory is used, registry is used for this device, which device, where it got placed, size, and nodes, which number of nodes it's using, what are the files are there, every detail it has every explanation. Yeah, but yeah, it has everything. When I say these, you will see these things are memory related thing. Journal has been used the memory only. Your journaling, we are using Linux, and it's takes some metadata, it's keeping some there somewhere in the Linux memory only. So these are the memory addresses where this journal has been run, and it has some output, and it has been written there. And which file it's denoting, it's noting this. So whatever the files has been open for your process, by your system, by your application, everything you will find out here actually. And in the explanation that we did, how many files, process, or the ports, you will see all the ports, even though you will got the ports as well, any ports or anything, because everything is being a file only here. So every detail you will got it, and that's why you have seen that it's all lots of lines are there. And it's up to you, what is the requirement you want to fetch it from there. You want to run something like, let me have it something for you. Let me grab the port. Let's see any port detail is giving or not. Yeah, I'll see that. This is my, no, this is the port, but yeah, I need to search something port. No, let me have it with ports only. Let me have it -i. It is not, no port is used as of now, so it is not giving. But yeah, it has given me everything it should be giving me. Like now, normally a zombie process I discussed in the earlier state, so it will provide me the zombie processor. I need to check that what is the processor, how the files has been used by this any of the process. It will be give me the detail here only. See the ssd is running, ssd running with this process, this lib file, library file has been used for to start this managing this one. All the process, port drop, send mail is one of the service, port drop, send mail, these are the services which are used for the to run any of the process or any of the things, so that you will get all the idea here. That's how that the many files are used for the process or port open or the any just what is the port used by any process, you will get the details from here as well. Superblock and inode, as we discussed about the inodes and superblock earlier, how we get the detail. But yeah, an inode is in a bunch of attribute of the file. I told you attribute, it has attribute like what is the attribute? System, where it got resides, what the information of the what is the where it's placed in your system, what is the name of your, every detail has been placed in this one. Like inode index node means it will provide the index, and you don't need the index, the system need the index, so that system read the file with the inode only. We are using the files with the name, like I need the one of the file I placed with, by my name. But yeah, system will not read that name, system will read that inode only. System is system, linux, in linux or any other system, any hardware is reading 0 or 1, so it read only the numbers. That's why every file, everything has having the IP address, inodes, anything like size, everything is a number. And here being a file, there is a number, there's a number which can be read by a system only. So inode is an index number where it got Linux store. There's an inode for each file, though the system file, though with the sum, the file system Linux has a create own inodes because the information is spread around the file system. It can be anywhere placed in a file system. So it can be the inode store for information like who owns the files, how big the file. I told you already, it has the metadata of that file. So that is having the in the inodes. And if system want to check any file, system want to see the any of the file place of the space place of that file, the size of the, it will not read the data because system is not a human basically. It's a machine only, so it's read the numbers only. And superblock is unique data structure of a file system. It is used for a file system only. Superblock means that it create a number for an, I already told you Linux is a number based system. Any OS can read only, the machine can understand the numbers only. So anything which is related to OS or anything, a system can be need to be converted into a number, and then it's plays something for his understanding, because we can understand the human readable format, but a system cannot. System only read that name numbers only. So superblock is a unique data structure for a file system. So every file system having some data structure means some numbers, and system can only understand numbers. So that if you find anything, like suppose I have created one file system in Linux, and there is one is the main number for that file system, another is the copy of that or link of that file. So that suppose your data has been corrupted, your file system has been corrupted, if you want to restore it, like it's though the multiple copies exist in the guard against the corruption, it has multiple numbers, it's a numbers only. It will provide you number that super, if you want to search the superblock, it provide you numbers only. And there's a number if you want to restore it. If suppose your original data has been corrupt, then you can restore with those numbers. Those are only the pointers. Suppose you have written something yesterday one superblock has been created, and your current today morning you find that your system or file system has been corrupted, so you can restore it from the past date superblock, so and store it from there. So you can tell them this is a superblock is a unique data structure number, and it can be on why it got used for a restoration. If you have the current data has been corrupted, so if you have any older superblock, then it can be restored from there only. modeprobe, by the name it's a explanatory that module probing means that module configuration, something is configured in Linux. I already told everything is being configured as a file, but file is directly not run. A file is having some code, it can be run through a daemon or run through a module as well. Suppose For you, it's a daemon. For a system, it's a module. If the system want to run something, then it will run through a module. And if you want to run something, it would be the daemon. Like earlier I told you, daemon is a pretty name for you to execute any of the process or you're running your application. But for a system, if you want to run some plugins, if you want to run some binaries so that it can understand something in the kernel, lots of modules has been added. Kernel is a bunch of module only. In a kernel, if you want to run something, then definitely system will understand the module is an executable file. It has some number, it find with the number, that file is there, and it run that executable so that it can sense that hardware. The module is used for the sensing in a hardware only. I'm telling you, it's a configuration only. Again, that maybe they want to check your some cluster related knowledge. Cluster means the combination or the set of some people's system. If we collected some people, we are called the cluster of people who can provide some services. So in the OS field, we have high available environment which has been created. One terminology has been used, cluster. And in a cluster, we have a two system, or minimum two, maximum any number of system would be there. But heartbeat, how, suppose I have a cluster, a high available environment, I have two nodes. How my first node can be aware the second node is available for the failure or failback is a terminology once you are running any of the service on a first node. Second node is being ideal node, but yeah, it is in running state. Somehow something has happened on a first node, then it will be failed over to the next node. This is how it's worked actually. And while it's failing over, then how it got failed over, there is an heartbeat kind of mechanism, so that first node aware, yeah, my second node is available. Whenever I have something, I have like I understand I'm not able to run it, then my service would be fail over to the next node. And that mechanism, the heartbeat, to just understand, to manage that second node, or to aware that these two nodes are available each other, they are using the heartbeat. So what is then the definition? Heartbeat is used for any line cluster to be internode state. Like they will aware, yeah, my second node is available. Second node, yeah, I'm the secondary one, but my primary is already running. So my services, all the services which need to be run, having on the primary one only. Primary understand my secondary is available. If something went wrong with me, definitely my service would be the failure to the my secondary one. My secondary one is available. The heartbeat providing me the detail, yeah, your secondary is available. So heartbeat is in a mechanism. There's a lots of different mechanisms used to, like you can use by any communication method. Like there's two NIC, you have added NIC means Ethernet card, you have added in between you have configured the two IPs and they are pinging each other. Once the ping has been broken, then cluster has aware, that cluster manager has been aware, yeah, one of the ping has been this ping has been uh, disconnected, or just maybe there's hindrance something there, yeah, something is went wrong with the other node. So primary node, if primary node is all the services running, cluster manager will see, yeah, primary node is okay, my secondary is having issue, so they will reboot or restart the secondary node. If something is happened on the primary node, the cluster manager see that, yeah, primary node is having one network issue, that's why the link heartbeat link has been blocked or just disconnected, so that it will be failure to the, it will try to start the services on the secondary node, and then the your service will be available. That's how it's working. And that is the importance of heartbeat. If heartbeat would not be there, then both the node think that I am the primary, or maybe think that my secondary is not there, so I need the alone server in the cluster. Maybe if something went wrong, I'm not able to understand what I need to do. I need to failure or failback, or I need to stop the service on whatever running on myself. So that's how it's working, and that is the importance of heartbeat. You can explain everything to them. Yeah. See, sometimes people are that the interviewer can ask some tricky question. What are the tricky question they can ask? What is normally group password is not required, but yeah, sometimes the people will ask, what is the group password? What is, how will check the, how will change the group password? Group password is required to just provide your provide the I can say provide the password to your group. So this is the password, and what is required to add a group. If you want to add a group, then you need to add a group, and the password can be set for this. Suppose I want to, let's see. Okay, it's saying that user Rohit is not available, does not exist. So I need to, what I need to do, I need to first create a user, and then I need to add or delete the group password for a group. Why it is required? Somehow something was happened to your, somebody want to add your group, but they will not able to do it because in OS everybody used in by a user only, and user is also belongs to any group. Suppose somebody, I'm a new user, I want to add myself in a group, so I'm not, if I did not set a password for a group, I can be a member of that group, and then I can use anything, whatever the file available for you, like other members, that can be used, they can delete those things. So we need to set it like that. That's why it's required to use the group password. Nowadays it is not required, but yes, they want to know about your Linux understanding. That's why it is required. But yeah, in older time it was used, but maybe this is the, because normally passwd for to change a password for an user, everybody is aware. They want to, you will know about this, just about your group and or the Linux user management related thing, then definitely that the question is there, the group, what is the use of group password, how will change that. Then group password is the command to change the password of a group. So this is all, this wasn't a requirement. How you can create a script or a specific command in Linux, they'll, so they want to understand, do you have idea about the Linux shell scripting? Because in a Linux OS we have an automation method that is called the shell scripting. How you can create a script to run a specific command on 1,000 boxes? So how you create it? You can create it by a bash shell. Bash shell is a mechanism where you can use it, or just create a script to create 1,000 users. How will do that? You need to know idea about the this one, like scripting, so that this command, your answer would be that we need to use the bash. And bash script, I'll use that. Nothing is that, it's a Linux basic structure, that if you create any test.sh file and ping localhost, sorry, my bad, I need to, this is the one file I have written, and then I need to just give the see, it's run. So I just run this command with the bash. Bash is the like I can say, I'm using the command line for to run in a script. And what is the, I have written my script to ping in a server only, and that server is the local host for me. I'm just giving you a test example for you. Like for example, that bash shell is a utility from which you can execute anything. And suppose I need to run this command, I just run the just send this command to n number of servers. So just I need to have the command like return SSH to this server, and I have the passwordless SSH. Then I need to run that command to all of the 100 servers. I just, what I'll do, I'll just SSH to every server. I just send this file to all the servers. Then I just start running it. I used to run it with the cron. That's how it has been created. So your answer will be the bash shell. With the help of bash shell, I need to create one automation script. Automation script, nothing but a, like I can say, if you want to run a command, like I need to run a yum update command, I need to run 100 numbers. So I just copied it to all 100 number servers, and I had to run one shot. I'll need to run it with like I can create one loop for to running those commands in all servers, so that in one shot I can run it on all servers. So if, the mechanisms to the service, which tool I can use it, I'm using the bash shell. So this was the answer from him. Okay. So how you can rename your volume group? So first of all, we need to understand what is the volume group. Why I'm giving you the example. They are asking the tricky question. Tricky questions mean they want to understand about the complete thing, but they are asking the volume. Everybody know that maybe LVM. I can ask the LVM question. You have the idea how to extend it, how to delete, but what is the volume group? and how you can rename it. So first of all, you need to give the idea about the LVM, logical volume manager. Like, what is the logical volume manager? Suppose I have a disk on my system. These are the disk. This is the disk where I have installed my root. I want to extend it. Suppose in any case, I want to extend it. Here I can't extend it because I have used my complete disk with this method. And in OS, they have the mechanism. First of all, if I want to extend it, I need to go through the OS based method, and I'm not directly extended because this was a running system. So that's why I'm using the another mechanism to just use I create to volume logically, and then I can increase or decrease it by my own requirement. Suppose I have created one, I have 10 disk, and I want to 10 disk of 10 GB, but I want to one 2 disk of 500 GB. For this method, it can't be possible. Either I need to have a RAID, but in the normal virtual machines, we don't have the RAID mechanism. So what we need to do, we need to have any volume manager which can be managed volume for me. So what is the method to use it? LVM is the native volume manager available in here on Linux, I can say. So in while creating a volume, I need to have the group, so that I need to first, suppose I have asked you that I have a 10 disk, but I need to have a 500 GB of 10 GB, 10 disk of 100 GB, but I need to have a file system of 500 GB of volume, but I have this the logical disk available on my system. So I need to use the LVM. How I'll create it? First of all, I need to create the PV. Suppose PV create any system. I need to create an add in an LVM. I need to first PV means physical volume creation. Another command is the, see that command is available. I'll just tab it and it will be automatically VG create. So I need to create a volume group, so that whatever the physical volume has been created on top of complete disk, that should be added in a volume group. Then last command is LV create. Now I have 10 disk of 100 GB disk on my volume group. My volume group size is 1000 GB, or I can say 1 terabyte. But now I can create what I can create. I can create the logical LV create command. LV create command with some of the -L, then 500 GB is the G is the space of the disk, then -N means name of the volume. Like suppose LV test I just created because I don't have the disk available on my system, but yeah, this is how it will be created. Then I need to provide the VG, whatever the VG I have created with it, so that what will happen, the space in my VG is 1 terabyte, so that it will, this command take the 500 gigabyte space from my disk, from my complete volume group, and it will create a file system of 500 GB. So for your application, they will see that there is a one block, one volume, or one file system has been created, which is in a 500 GB space, even though you have a 5 disk used behind the scene of that file system. But yeah, that was the requirement. That's why you people are using your volume manager. Like in Linux, LVM, and AIX, it was something different. In Solaris, we have OS, that was something different. But in Linux based system, we have the LVM only. So first, this is the explanation. But what is the volume? Suppose you want to, because their question was called is the volume group, how you rename it volume group. But yeah, they want to understand about the LVM technology from you, and they want to give you some tricky questions so that you can confuse, so that you are not able to answer it. That's how the interviewer taking the question and answer. Yeah, now we need to have we have the command VG rename and VG name, and then I need to have the new disk name and the new VG name and the older VG name. But I'm telling you, whenever you are changing your VG name, then you need to change because you have some file system created with the LVM, and you have made the entry in your FS tab, so that once the system will be rebooted, your volume has been mounted, but you just rename the VG or did not change the FS tab file. In the next reboot, your file system would not be mounted, maybe your system got hanged while it's booting, maybe sometime in the cloud they have some no file mount option, so that your file system not be, your system will not be hanged or just stuck, but your system will be booted but no file system has been mounted, because the system will not got those name because you changed the name. So that whenever you made any changes with the VG rename, you need to make the changes in the FSTF file. I guess you all aware that what is the FSTF. FSTF file is the detail of your FS tab, file system related file system details. So here we have only one file system, that is root. Suppose you have another application related file system, you change the VG name because of some requirement. Maybe they have the requirement, like there says they have some put standard, and you, while you're creating, you did not follow the instruction, and audit team required, though you need to make it the like that. So you need to change every name or every volume group name, or only one volume group name. So you need to rename it. VG rename is the command. VG rename is the command, and from this you change it with the new and old, and then after that you need to change the FSTF file. So they want to understand this complete structure about the LVM. So NFS, what is the NFS? See, these are the question, only the tricky question. They want to understand all the idea about the NFS only, and then you need to provide the complete idea about the Linux NFS. What is the NFS? NFS is the name explanatory, that is the network file system. You can tell them the directly name that we can have the reload NFS service by system reload command NFS server, or the you can have only export the file system with the particular file system. File system with the particular file system, like some settings are there, you can mount it, but we don't have a NFS. Otherwise I'll showcase to how to change things. But yeah, you need to give the idea about what is the NFS. NFS is the network file system. And any service, if you want to reload, or like, there's a two question in these things. First of all, you need to tell the what is the NFS, how it got mounted. NFS and network file system, it is kind of a NAS, and in the NAS you have file system or disk has been created in a different system, and those disks need to be mounted here, and those disk has been mounted over the network. That's how it's called the NFS. And sorry, and it has been, if you want something, suppose you have exported from your NFS server, and that got and you need to add something in your export, or in your export NFS export. So what you need to run the NFS reload command, and any of the file system, any of the service can be reload by this command, systemctl reload and then the service name. So that if you made any changes on the configuration file, as I told you, Linux is in a file based operating system. So if you did any changes, then you want to restart the service. But yeah, that service can be restarted, then all this like all the effect whatever there in your system will be reloaded or rebooted, or I can say that application can be maybe stopped because of restart. So better to restart, just reload your service, so that it will just review the your file, and whatever the changes would be there, it reloaded those changes, not to all the files, right? How you can temporarily share the NFS mount? What you need to just see, like there is an export file. If you want to export something, you want to export any file system, any directory or any file system, then you need to make entry in the etc export file. Otherwise, if you want to export something temporary, not to make a permanent thing on this file, this structure basically, so you need to do one thing. You need to run this command, export fs -o async, then it will be export this user temp, sorry, user temp with this is the server name. This server name has been exported with this directory, so that this directory has been there, and you have exported with some options, and it will be exported for all, so that anybody can mount this one. But yeah, you did not made any changes this etc export directory, so that what will happen, suppose your system got rebooted, this NFS server has been got rebooted, this this setting will be wiped out. volatile. These are the not persistent setting, only that temporarily basis you have made some changes that you want to export or you want to mount that file system in another 100 file systems, but you want that this would be happen only this much of time because you have the day when after that you are going to reboot your system. Then definitely for the day you have made, you have run this command so that this file system has been exported. And any other system like me, you have 100 clients where you want to give some data and your data has been placed on user temp, then they can read those data. But yeah, once your NFS server has been rebooted, then this export would not be there. Nobody can use that export. If they have mounted, they can't able to see the data on their directory if they have mounted and they're in. This is how it can be done, because they want to know, because these things are related to production server, because I don't want to refresh on anything on my export file. I want to temporary base do some changes on my system. I want to export something to all my 100 clients. So I'm not going to make any changes on this file, because this is making a permanent file system, so I don't want to make it. I just run this command so that this can be exported. What is the multiple? How can you configure for different storage? Multipathing use. What is the multipathing? Like we talked about the cluster is providing the high availability of the systems. But multipathing used for the redundancy or providing the high availability of your disk storage, whatever you are using. Older days when we are having the NAS or a SAN available on my data center, same data center where everything managed by us only, so that time we are using the multipathing. So that means that you have got the multiple path for an edge storage to your OS, so that your OS sense that you are getting the two disk. But once you configure the multipathing, one dev mapper, that is one of the terminology called dev mapper. So the dev mapper will do one thing, that it will take the two path, create one logical name to you, so that if that any path has been down, but still you got the disk, you will got the data, or you will get this disk or object or just block storage, because another path was available. So they have given you two path, but the dev mapper, the utility should be there on your files OS, so that that can be for the two path, you will see the two disk name. And for that, if you have the dev mapper, it will give the multipathing, it will give you one logical name, and your system will see that, yeah, dev mapper, so that one path is there for my disk, and I'll use that, not directly to those paths which is there like in your system. I'll showcase to you. Sorry. Here you will see that this is the disk attached to your server. Suppose I do not have created the multipathing here, but suppose if I have, then definitely I need to have the two path. And if the multipathing mechanism has been created on my system, then I'll have only one path, but behind the scene there should be the two paths. So the multipath has been provided by the two manner. First is provided by the your storage vendor, so that they will give you the two paths, so that in OS you will see the two disk, but those cannot be used directly, because then after that you need to configure the dev mapper, that is the native multipath tool for the OS. Then what the dev mapper do, dev mapper take the two disk name and then create a logical name for you. You need to create a file system on top of it, so that what will happen, suppose one path has been down because of some disruption, or maybe something has been made get worse and that has been down, but still another path would be there, and you got that disk availability. That's how they have created in the local data centers. But nowadays cloud is there and nobody used it, but still the interviewer can ask the question, because they want to know understanding about your Linux, because we are giving the Linux interview. Okay, what are the protocols used for the NFS? First of all, there's a two question in this question. First of all, what is the protocol? And the another one, what is the NFS? So you need to explain both the things. Protocol, you can tell them protocol is a mechanism to to communicate between two machines, or two entities, where we can use like two entities. Maybe we have the two mobile phone, we have the two the system, maybe we have the two um, I can say the communication. Maybe I have my television. I have one disk where it got connected. It is running. Some data is flowing through one destination to source. Then we are using the protocols so that my data flow. Man, just use one protocol so that it can be either I can say protocols. I can say that is one is like. Have some quality or have some mechanism to review or just to check my data, whatever the data is flowing from one into another end. Another protocol is used like for the technical purpose. I can say I'm just talking about these two, UDP and TCP only. There are the multiple protocols are there, they are using for different services, even though nowadays the people are using the protocol for even for the services as well. But yeah, for networking area, we have only two protocols majorly used, that is UDP and TCP. Protocols is in a mechanism where I can see, yeah, my data is flowing from one end to another end, and my protocol manage the availability, quality, and reliability of my data. That is the method, that is the mechanism done by the or just services provided by the protocols. Protocols mean that you have some protocol, like you have heard about the protocol and term. Protocol is having the system where they have the system to just flow of data, and the flow of data, this like latency or just maybe quality, maybe the availability of data will be checked by that protocol. So UDP and TCP is the protocol where you have the latency check mechanisms available on your protocol. Suppose some data you are flowing from into another, and from in there for the first end, the source, you have put some system checker or parity bit on your data. Once it reach the destination, you will see that, yeah, there's some data reached to me. I need to check the parity, whether what is the state of data once it has been started from its source. So I need to check it. Yeah, data has been clearly intact. I can use the data. If something went wrong, then definitely I again told to my source, yeah, your data is corrupted or your data is not good, so you need to send it again. That's why the TCP has been used. UDP we are using normally, like I'm talking to you on over the phone, and some disruption will become. Definitely I can reiterate it, or I can tell you there, you can tell me, no, I am not able to hear it. I can tell you again those things. And the data reliability is not exactly I can say decided, or I can say the other word I can say, this is not give you in terms of like any agreement. If the data has been dropped, you can tell me data has been dropped, or you can, if you are not able to listen it, you can tell me. I can say, I can again speak to you, but system will not manage it. If it is dropped, it will be dropped. Again I'm telling you something, then the for system it's a new data. For in terms of TCP, no, it is not like that. It again sent to, yeah, the data is not correct, you need to send it again. We did not to worry about the data like say latency or data quality and all. But in terms of UDP, it is not there. So that is the protocol. And NFS, again, this we talked about earlier, it is a network file system. Network file system. So network file system is there, and it's flowing the data only. So sometimes it's used the UDP as well. Because of that, I can say like acknowledgement, there is a two kind of flow is happening. Somebody request for data, the data will reach to you by the TCP protocol, but yeah, you just acknowledge it, yeah, data has been good. That is in terms of UDP. Maybe you will got that yeah, it is. If the data is good, then it will be flow through the UDP method. Otherwise it will be go to the, if somebody is not running, like data is not intact, then again it revert back with the TCP only. This is how it works. And you can tell them, yeah, UDP and TCP used for the NFS. This you can complete detail to them. Yeah. See, again, they have give the, I'll already explain you. You can explain them in a better my TCP connection oriented protocol, where the UDP is the connectionless protocol. A key difference between the TCP UDP, the speed as the TCP is comparatively slower than the UDP. Overall, UDP is much faster, simpler, and the efficient protocol. However, the retransmission of lost data packet is only possible with the TCP. I told you that if something happened with the data, then what would happen, it will retransmit for you, because the data quality is important in the TCP. But the UDP, it is not required, but it is fast, because you do not need to resend again the data. whatever the data you receive, that is you need to accept it, so that it will be the fast. But then in terms of TCP, it's again request you please send me the correct data, so that again you need to send it, so it will be the slower one. That's how it is. There are the difference, and this is how we need to provide the answers and explain to them, yeah, this is how it's worked actually. So these are all the 30 questions we have. And okay, no, we have another question, sorry, I just missed that. We are using the different method to upgrade the servers as part of the client requirement. What is the method of using upgraded server? See, like in normal environment, it has a simple answer for which method you are using, depend on which method provided by the client. Like I'm telling you, I'm using to upgrade my system, to register the system, and to the vendor website, and from there I'm getting the upgrade. The second method, maybe I'm getting the disk of the packages, so that the new package, once the new package has been came, vendor send me the disk, yeah, please upgrade your system by the disk. Maybe third method, that I can have the another methods, I'm not going to correct every time to the public internet, because my client is not allowing me to do so. So what I need to do, I need to download it on my server, and I create a proxy repository like the same whatever the vendor has. And whenever my any of the client required any of the package or any upgrade, they can connect to internal to my repositories, or just maybe my local repository or proxy repository, they can get the data from there, because once I have downloaded in a month, so that any time they want to. But yeah, that is download in a month, like in the first March I just downloaded something and I need to upgrade it in 15 March. So I don't get the latest patch set, I have only the patch set whatever I have downloaded on the 1st of March. To direct connectivity with the repository, I have the method, because I have directly connected to the vendor repository and they have the latest patch set and everything. That's how these are the method we can upgrade our servers. You can tell them these are the method, and we need to have the downtime while we are upgrading our servers. So that was a requirement. Oh, this is all 31 questions, and I hope that it will be help you to understand about the Linux, and it will help you to just complete this any intro, because normally if they have we have spent almost 1.5 hours to just explain you those things, even the 1.5 hours, so that maybe if you explain them, that is suffice your explanation to them to just get into it clear. And thank you for time. Thank you. Thank you very much.